In program.
Good evening. Good evening. Hope you can hear me. Quick sound check. Anyway, hope you've had a good Monday so far. It was a good day. Got a chance to relax and go to the gym, and supposed to get my tire fixed on my car, but couldn't get it because the tire hadn't come in yet. I have one of those sets of tires that you got a special order, so got to wait till tomorrow. I was hoping to get that done today, but anyway, it is almost 6 o'clock on this Monday, February 20th, 2023. Glad to be before you once again, to be able to just encourage myself. Right, a little disappointed. Like I said, I couldn't get that tire fixed, so got to kind of roll around on this donut. I don't know if you like me, but I can't stand those donuts that they give you now to put on your car. Instead of just a regular spare tire. But that's the tire manufacturers doing that so they can make some money. Money. Anyway, going to be brief. Kind of behind time, but going to be brief this evening. Again, I hope you've had a good day. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. For some of us, like I said, I was off of work today because of President's Day. So because of where I work, we have this day off from work. So I had an opportunity to just kind of, do what I wanted to do, so to speak. So again, hope you had a good day. If you didn't have the day off, I hope you still enjoyed it, that you had an opportunity to be blessed and to be a blessing to someone today. And so again, I said I'm going to be brief. So today, I've been running around trying to get back so I can get on and do this. So even as I was going through some technical difficulties trying to get on, because as I shared with you last week, my computer is down, so I had to send it away for repairs. So I'm using a different computer that a little older than one I usually use, and so I had some technical difficulties. I had to reboot it and get everything up and running. And so even in that, that frustration starts, and you get anxious. And so today, as I was booting everything up and trying to get back online and get everything up and running, a thought came to my mind. And the thought was to release the pressure. So I don't know who this is for today. It may even be just for me, I don't know. But release the pressure. When pressure builds, right, it can cause damage. Right? Think of a kettle. And so in the kettle, the water is heated up, and then pressure, right, builds up. And there's a little hole at the top of the spout that when the water gets to a certain temperature, it begins to let steam out, right? It begins to let the pressure out. And so there are some times in our lives where we are holding on to things. We're allowing things to build up, right? Whether it be where, there's something negative that happens and we don't express how we're feeling. And there's nothing wrong with expressing our feelings. There's nothing wrong with, saying how you feel about a situation. We have to be mindful of how we express that. But there's nothing wrong with us expressing our feelings. And so But what we can't do is we can't, and I'm guilty of it, we can't hold everything in. We're not designed to hold everything in, right? Because again, like I said, as the pressure builds up, right? If it's in a container, if you're familiar with like an air freshener, they tell you don't puncture the can, right? Because it's pressurized. And so all it takes sometimes is for one thing to come along, right? And you've got all this stuff built up inside of you, all this pressure built up, and it takes one thing to come along and put a tiny little hole, right, in that can, and all that pressure is released. And so what we have to do, we do a better job of doing, is releasing that pressure, right, gradually over time, like the kettle, right? The kettle, as the water gets heated up, that little pinhole in the top of the, maybe a little bit bigger than the pinhole, but that hole in the top helps the pressure to release, right, as it heats up. And even while it's being heated, before the whistle blows, right, on the kettle, for those of you who are familiar or old enough to remember a kettle, right, even as the water is heating up, pressure is slowly being released as the water is getting to the temperature and boiling. And so we have to get to a point where we are allowing ourselves to release pressure. And I can't tell you how to do that. You have to find a way to do it. For me, it's different things depending on the situation. Sometimes it's just listening to my favorite song. Sometimes it's going to the gym and working it out. Sometimes it's listening to a certain message. And so they're just different ways. So for some people it could be screaming, right? You got to be careful how, when and where. But I mean, if you need to release, sometimes we got to get to a point where we allow people to release, right? To get it out in whatever way they can. And so, like I said, I was going to be brief, but release the pressure. Release the pressure. Let it out. Don't hold it in. Don't hold back. Let it out so that it doesn't cause damage to you, the container that's holding it, and possibly to somebody else. Release the pressure. Release the pressure. And so this is Pastor Wayne signing off. This quick word of encouragement to you. Release the pressure. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it back. Let it out. Find a way to let it out. Find a way to release it so it doesn't cause damage to you or those around you. So be blessed. We'll be back tomorrow night. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.